Today we're going to sketch some houses and trees. You need a pencil, eraser, and a paper. I'm going to take my paper, I'm actually going to fold it because I'm going to do sketching and I need some spots. If I folded it twice, I get 8 different spots, including the front and the back. Here I go. Now I want to do my first sketches of houses. I don't want to use up all those spots. I want to do smaller sketches to kind of get an idea of what I want to do. So I broke one of them up into 4 smaller spots and then I did a close-up. I'm thinking of a traditional house, a square, a triangle, and now I need a door and some windows, a little bit of detail just to give me some idea. I'm sketching, just getting some ideas across. So another shape of a house could be a rectangle, right? And then the roof isn't quite a triangle, right? It's a slanted sided rectangle. Again, doors and windows. What else can I do? Oh, another shape. Here's a triangle. Getting a little bit more creative as I go. Every time I draw something, something else might pop into my head. I'm just sketching. There are no wrong ways to sketch. You don't have to be drawing a realistic house. What about another shape? How about half of an oval? Now here's what I'm thinking every time. I need the main house shape. I need doors, windows, and a roof, right? So every time I'm drawing, I'm thinking, what's the main house shape? What does the roof look like? This one I had to flatten. I'm doing a circle, but it would roll away, so I did flatten the bottom. Look at this one. Now as I'm drawing it, it's starting to remind me of a pumpkin. It's Halloween pumpkin or a bowling ball. Sometimes if I kind of get to a point where I don't know what I'm doing, I'll stop. I'll just stick on a roof, but I'm not a big fan of this one. Let me keep going. What can I do? Well, since that reminded me of Halloween and a pumpkin, I'm kind of heading into the food feeling. What about a dropped ice cream cone? That's right. I want you to be really creative. Now, here's some things to think about. Make sure that your house could actually stand up, right? So not topple over. So my ice cream cone is splatted on the ground. And again, I did the main house shape, the roof, a door, and windows. All right, now that I'm in the food mood, how about a cupcake? So my main house shape is the bottom of the cupcake. And then I've got some windows. Kind of reminded me actually now like of a lady, right? A smiling, happy person. One of those will be a door and one of these will be a window. All right, what else can I do? Well, let me get a little bit more realistic. What about if I did like a building as if I'm in the city, like a skyscraper or something that have lots of windows, right? Just want to erase some of that. Ah, here we go, a taller door. And I still need a roof, so it'd be kind of a skinny roof. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. Now I'm going to look at these. Are there any that I like where I want to kind of elaborate, make a little bit bigger? Maybe not the exact house, but it's inspired me. I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to do something triangular and kind of push myself to do something that has a little bit more detail. Not all the detail, but a little bit more detail. Now this sketch, since it was bigger, took me longer. I'm speeding up the video and I cut some places out where I was doing a little thinking and it took me a little while. So once you get to a little bit bigger one, it will take you a couple minutes longer. The first ones were maybe 30 seconds to a minute of just getting ideas. This one, I'm thinking out a little bit more thoroughly. What else? Are there any other ones I want to kind of elaborate on? Well, I think I'll elaborate more on a traditional house. This one is kind of my house. It's kind of the same style. I've got a rectangular house. I've got a slate roof. I've got a few doors, several windows. So this one I'm just doing more of a traditional house that reminds me of mine. Again, your thoughts when you're drawing, not crazy detail, some detail. You need the basic house shape. You need windows, you need doors, and you need a roof. You can be thinking about the details for later, but we don't need them right now. All right, I feel good about my houses. Now I'm looking at some trees. Same idea. I don't want to do big ones first. I just want to do quick sketches, 30 seconds to a minute. These are traditional trees, pine tree, and then the deciduous tree. Now I'm going to get a little bit more creative, one with a just crazy round top, one that's lost all its leaves. Okay. Now those are traditional. What about something a little bit more fun? What if I took that triangle shape from my houses and did a tree with just triangles and circles? I have a trunk, I have branches, and I have leaves. Now when I'm doing trees, I'm thinking of trunks and branches and leaves. I flipped it over and looked at some of my houses. One of them was like the cupcake house. And I thought, what about a candle tree? Right? Again, trunk, leaves, branches. I thought of the pumpkin one, maybe a candy corn tree, but I'm kind of stuck for what would be the branches and what would be the leaves. So you know what? I'm just going to stop. I don't like that idea. I'm going to move on. You need a trunk, branches, and leaves. So I'm going to go back to the traditional pine. I've got a trunk. I've got those triangle shapes I'm overlapping. But I'm going to get a little bit more detailed than I would have done the smaller ones. My trunk would go all the way to the top, and I have my branches. Remember I said trunk, branches, leaves. The leaves are the triangular shapes. Now I'm going to do the deciduous tree. I'm going to see all my branches, my trunk coming up, spending a little bit more time on these branches. I think of V shapes and kind of doubling up my lines. And then for my leaves, I'm just going to do kind of groups of them, big kind of puffs. For next week, you need one house and one tree that you really like a lot that you could do a whole drawing with. These are my trees and my houses. I do not want to see my trees and my houses in your drawings. Be creative. One question you might have is, no, you may not have tree houses. So no combination of a tree and a house. A tree, a house, two separate things. Be creative and enjoy.